What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be installing the new PSR upper control arms on my Hilux. I've finally bit the bullet and bought some up control arms. I wasn't sure what up control arms I wanted at the start. I sort of wanted the superior ones but didn't really want to pay over $1,000 for it. PSR have just bought out these new upper control arms that are adjustable, not at the ball joint. I didn't want the ones that are adjustable at the ball joint because I've heard too many stories about when you knock them hard, it goes out of alignment because they're adjustable at the ball joint. So yeah, I got these ones because they're adjustable at the arm, and yeah, they look pretty good. So I'm going to test them out, see how they go, and I'll finally be able to go off-road again without my up control arm hitting my suspension. Another thing I wanted to mention, guys, if you hadn't noticed, I have got some shade cloth here, so you don't have to listen to me complain about how bright and sunny it is when I'm getting smashed by the light, when it's days like these where there's fuck all clouds. So concreted posts in here and over there, and just got turnbuckles on the corners and up here. So yeah, finally got some shade to do some work in, because you know, I don't have $20,000 to build my dream shed yet, so this is going to do for now. So these are the up control arms. It does come with an instruction guide, but you know, that doesn't always tell you everything of what you got to remove. It's pretty good, but it doesn't tell you anything you got to remove in your engine bay if you've got anything in the way. Yeah, so these are the arms here. Righto guys, so now that we've ran through the upper control arms, I've just popped my bonnet already because I won't be able to reach when I jack my car up, because as you guys may know, I've already got 3 inches of lift in the front, and I'm gonna crack my wheel nuts so I can, once I jack it up, I'll get the wheels off easy. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. So this is my setup. If you haven't watched my suspension video, you're more than welcome to go watch that. I'll link it just above. So yeah, I got the Fat Bars Bilstein shocks and spring, the coilover. So this is the reason why you get up control arms. When you lift it, obviously your spring's getting longer, or your coilover's getting longer, so your up control arm, when it's on full droop, it's on a huge angle and it actually hits here on the spring. So yeah guys, as you might be able to see just there, that's the bottom of the up control arm hitting on my spring. So that's the reason why you get new upper control arms. So obviously these aren't adjustable, these are just factory. So this is where mine adjust here. So instead of the adjusting at the ball joints like other ones, yeah, mine are up here as you guys saw. So we'll get cracking on undoing them. So first of all, we start with this cotter pin here. So you got to undo that, undo crown nut, but don't undo it all the way. You just want to undo it a bit so it's still on, and then you got to hit it with a hammer and it'll separate from your ball joint. So guys, another thing I forgot to mention is before you undo everything, you want to get your jack and jack up your lower control arm. If your up control arm is hitting on your suspension, just makes it easier, so there's no pressure against everything, so you can undo everything easy, and there's no, you know, nothing's gonna shoot up and snap your finger or anything. Now that I've cracked that and the ball joints down, before you undo your crown nut and drop or spread everything, you want to make sure you undo all your brake lines. You can do this before you undo any of the stuff. You probably should do it before so you don't forget. So you want to go ahead, undo all your brake lines that are connected to your up control arm and everything, and yeah, just so you make sure you don't break anything. So this is the bolt here, so you just undo this bracket here and the one off your up control arm, obviously because you're removing this, that's going to be in the way. So get rid of that, undo this. You probably don't have to, but I did it anyway. So yeah, and then you can undo your crown nut all the way and drop your suspension down, and then your spring and shock will carry all the weight of the lower control arm and everything else. Alright, so now that that's done, it's all, nothing's under tension, everything's undone. As you can see, up control arms separated from the lower parts. So now next we want to undo this nut here and undo everything. Pretty much there's a bolt that goes all the way through there, and yeah, get that out of the way, and that's how you get your up control arm out. Righto, so I was undoing the big bolt that runs through the up control arm, and I found, I'm pretty sure it's an aircon, one of the aircon hoses in the way. So I'll show you guys what I'm going to do. So I am going to undo this hose here, and then if you have a look down there, that's the bolt down there, and it's hitting that hose right next to it, that aluminium hose or whatever it is. So I'm going to undo this hose here and go down there and get that out of the way so I can pull the bolts through. Righto guys, so I got the up control arm out. Safe to say that was the most painful part so far. There's a little that aircon hose is in the way, so there's a tiny Phillips head screw that you got to get out to get that aircon hose out of the way. You don't need to undo the aircon hose, just the big hose up the top. Undo that, and then undo that little, you'll see little Phillips head screw that's holding, it's got a rubber clamp around it. So yeah, you just got to undo that to get the bolt, the big bolt there, all the way out. So now that I've done that, I'm going to get the new control arm, try and put that in, and see if I can get it in. Righto guys, so this is the difference between your factory one and the PSR one. Pretty much, yeah, this is the standard, no adjustment, pretty flimsy. They're pretty crap really, but I suppose it does what it needs to do. And these are the upgraded ones, so that's a bit of a side-by-side comparison. One thing to note when installing these washers here that come on the end of the stock up control arms, you can pretty much throw them away. All that you need is the nut and the bolt to go through. This up control arm has the washers pretty much already installed on it. They probably do come off, but they're already set in there. And another thing, when you do install these, you want to make sure these two locking nuts are facing outwards when you install them. So yeah, just make sure that you have them on the outside, and make sure it's wound all the way in, so it's not adjusted anything, like it's not adjusted out at all. So you want to set them up as far in as possible and make sure these are on the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and get the new arm in, up control arm, and yeah, we'll see how that goes, and then we'll do the other side. This is going to be probably a two-person job for this part. You got to get your new up control arm in, sitting there while someone feeds the bolt through the other side, because of the stuff that's in the way, it's hard to just like slide it in and then push the bolt back through. It's easier to get it out than back in, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to go get my wife to give me a hand with this part, and we'll get it in and I'll show you then.
Yeah, done.
Alright guys, so that is the bolt back in. As you can see, or maybe see, the bolt back there runs back through. Done the nut up on this side. So yeah, looking way better. There's heaps of clearance here now, as you can see. I can fit my hand in there. So now all I have to do is pretty much lift it back up, take the nut off and put it back in through here, put the nut back on, and pretty much put all the brackets together. I'm pretty sure this part here, you take this little mount off now and just zip tie the little line to here. There's a little tab welded on, so just use a zip tie, weld it on there. Then you put this, can put this bracket back on, and yeah, pretty much do everything up just tight enough. These I think it was these nuts here, I think is 70 Newton meters of torque. So if you have a torque wrench, do that. If not, just do them up pretty firm until you get your wheel alignment. I'm getting my wheel alignment tomorrow, so yeah, I'll just put everything, I'll tighten these up to the torque spec and put everything back together, and we'll get on the other side and crack on with that. Righto, so that's pretty much done there guys. So lock nuts on there, you don't use the crown nut obviously anymore. Yeah, pretty much make sure you do everything up. This little cable here is zip tied now. Yeah, I pretty much just snapped the bracket off. I didn't want to risk damaging the line, so I just broke it as close as I could to the line. And yeah, so make sure you do your bracket down here up if you did take that off. Zip tie that. Make sure you do your nut up here, nut down there, and that's pretty much what it looks like guys. I'll do these locking nuts up. As I told you guys before, it's around 70 Newton meters of torque. All that I have to do now obviously is put the little screw, or put the bracket back together down there, the hose bracket, and then put this hose back on that hole, do it all up, and then start the other side. Righto guys, so that driver's side's done. Now I'm on to the passenger side, so pretty much just going to be the same. I'm going to jack it up a bit, jack the lower control arm up a bit to get the pressure off the upper control arm and the spring, and then pretty much undo take the pin out, undo the crown nut and everything. Pretty much same as before guys. This side hopefully is going to be a bit easier. I don't think the battery is going to get in the way, but if it does I'll let you know what you have to do. So yeah, I'll get cracking on that. Yeah, show you the end result. I got problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone in progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it. Cause bitch, I got problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone in progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it. Oh well guys, that was much easier. That pretty much just slides out on this passenger side, so I'll go grab the other one. Righto, so here's the other one guys. Now just remember again, wind these all the way in. Make sure the bolts and the nut and bolts are facing the outside, and remember you don't have to use these washers that come off the original up control arms because they're already built into these up control arms. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and chuck these in. It's pretty much just a matter of putting them up there and getting the bolt, sliding it back through. Yeah. Alright, that easy guys. got to chuck the nut back on the other side of the big bolt. Do that up, and then I'll undo this nut here at the bottom of the ball joint, connect it back through there, do the same as before, do all these brake line brackets back up, cut this other bracket off, and then zip tie it to the little tab on the new upper control arm.
Problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone in progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it. Cause bitch, I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone in progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it. Why you be all in my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Don't hang with a nigga who lying for nothing. I see that we different, you riding, I double. I don't do discussions on bragging about hundreds. Don't go to your places, I know that they sunken. Don't call me your brother, I barely could trust you. I talked to a shorty, she bagging the bugging. And I'ma need all of my dollars on corporate, so hand me the money, I give you the pie. I make you all of my people a portion to build them a fortune, I'm flipping the ride. I can't be mixy when iffy the vibe, and 40 on 50 is really the time. Why is you all on my phone like you want me, like you wasn't pushing the kid to the side? I don't know if you bitches are thinking I'm blind. Cross on my crosses and doubt on my eyes. Done with your efforts, I'm dealing with pressures. I know it's a lesson, that's word of the wise. Dubbing the mixes, I'm mixing.
Righto guys, so that pretty much sums up today's video. One thing I'd like to say is thanks guys, we've just reached 200 subscribers, so any of you that subscribe, I'd like to thank you. And if you want to see everything I do, or some of the things I do have an Instagram for the Hilux. I'll put that on the screen now. And yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe, and see you on the next one.
Phone in progression, it's all that I wanted. A phone in affection, I summon and dub it.